You're listening to the Peasinner Network. For more great podcasts, go to peasinner.com.au.
Spoiler alert. I mean, honestly, if you listen to this podcast, spoilers.
Spoilers.
Pyramidal structures are exquisite containers of energy.
It's impressive, I'll give you that.
You can find them in every galaxy throughout the universe.
That's because their walls don't collapse over centuries.
Like most people, you fail to grasp the power of geometry. The whole ziggurat could be a portal to a battery, a fortress,
Or what?
a prison.
People of the universe, please attend carefully. The message which follows is of vital importance to you all. We present to you a case study of one of the most dangerous minds in the universe. A history of the lives and times of the renegade Time Lord known as the Master.
Call me Master.
The choice is simple. Join us and continue listening, or face total annihilation.
Listen.
They are the Master, and you will obey them.
You will obey me.
Please attend carefully. Hello and welcome to Please Attend Carefully, the Doctor Who podcast about the most magisterial of malefactors. I'm Ciarán Moffatt.
I'm Amber Patrick.
And each week we bring you a chapter from the lives and times of the renegade Time Lord known universally as the Master. This week we will be looking at Master, Planet Doom, a 2024 audio story written by Robert Whitelock, Barnaby Kay, and Robert Valentine. Amber, tell us what it's about.
The Master is forced to join a secret military operation alongside a tactical group of mercenaries, skilled scientists, and his good friend Vienna Salvatore. They end up in an underground labyrinth that's actually a prison for one of the Time Lord's oldest enemies.
Dun dun dun. Okay, so I've listened to the first Bruce Master box set, the first Master !
Yeah, so have I.
Yeah, I enjoyed it, but I haven't listened to it in very, very long time. And I haven't listened to Nemesis Express yet. So we listened to this. Obviously, there's a bit of reference to the last story. I'm assuming it ends with the Master ending up in the time vortex. Oh, how he always ends up in the time
Yes.
vortex.
But not enough that you can't follow along with exactly what's
exactly.
happening. I never felt lost when listening to this.
No, absolutely. And this is what I always say about Classic Who. And this is Classic Who, even though it's packaged in a sort of New Who way. It is Classic Who.
Yeah.
You should be able to pick up any story and understand it. Like, you should be able to pick your favourite Doctor, your favourite companion, pick up any story and understand it. And that's what you can with this. So we've done the Bruce Master. We did the movie. And I feel like we really shortchanged the Bruce Master by doing the movie because it's nothing like what his character is now.
Yeah, I did actually feel quite good that we were picking up this brand new release, as obviously it's just dropped within the last couple of days. And it was like, oh yeah, this is a great opportunity, a good excuse to just cover him in the audios.
Yeah.
Rather than waiting for us to get to him down the line in a mainstream episode of our show.
The humor is incredible. Like, he is so funny. Just wonderfully dry humor.
Yeah, but not funny in the same way that like Saxon and Dwan and Missy are all cracking jokes and doing references to things. Like, this is as you say, dry
Yeah,
humor.
he just drops like some little jokes in there. One of my favorite lines is just, if I've got a quote here, "If in doubt, follow the sound of Axos being pasted." Just beautiful.
I then love the way he marries that dry wit with also just his anti-humor or his...
Like, he shuts it. People make jokes and he just shuts them down. Like,
yeah, following on from the way he was in the film, kind of. Like, in this one, I love there's a point where, like, Vienna says to him, they say, when there's conflict, the Raptors are going to turn to the Master for leadership rather than their military leader. And Vienna says, don't you mean us? And he's like, no, me. Like, it's not even entertaining. any kind of notion of what might happen. It's like, no, this is what's going to happen.
He also says at one point when he's planning to get rid of Vienna, it's a wonderful dynamic between the two of them because obviously they've known each other for a while now because she's the sort of semi-companion in each box set. And obviously he wants to kill her constantly. But look, even just it's low-hanging fruit, but at one point he's like reeling off his list of what he's going to do, and it's just like, and then it's Goodnight Vienna. I was like, oh, such a good line. See, and this is the thing, like Eric Roberts got such a bad rap after the movie, like out-acted by a CGI snake in the same role. That is an actual quote.
Yeah.
That is a genuine quote that someone gave of the film, which is really harsh. And I don't know, maybe it's just that Eric Roberts is older now, and he's more... Like, his delivery is just beautiful. I'm not sure how it would work on screen because his face is still quite like if you watch him in most things these days, he plays a gangster, right? Like he plays New York gangsters more than anything else.
I think if he played up that intimidating stone wall version of the Master, maybe if he was in a story with another Master to sort of play off each other, and then it would make maybe a bit more sense. But I think I'd be at least interested to see it. I mean,
I think it's absolutely possible. Like, Russell, get on it. I want to see it. I'm not sure how well it would work, but I want to see it.
Yeah, I love that I listened to the interviews that came with these audios, and Chase Masterson, who plays
Vienna,
she said that Robert's performance is delicious. That's the word she used. Delicious. Yeah, that's how the word she uses to describe him, and that he revels and brings this like playfulness behind it. But I did think that was quite well thought, delicious.
And also, for people who don't know, I mean, not that like Eric Roberts should be able to stand on his own merits, but it should be noted that Eric Roberts' sister is Oscar winner Julia Roberts, and his daughter is Emma Roberts, who is also a highly decorated actor.
It's in their blood.
It's the whole family. It's the whole family.
Obviously, so beautifully played by Eric Roberts. And
I was going to say, what's it like working with Eric?
Oh, he's just wonderful. Always just so wonderful. He has that deliciousness about him.
All right, so let's start at the start.
This is a 3-part box set rather than the kind of 4 that we're used to.
Well, it's funny. We've been doing stuff that's just a little bit older. These days, 3 is the standard.
Okay, which makes sense. A 3-part story.
I would not have wanted this to be a 4-part story.
No,
honestly, it stretched out a bit in the middle. It didn't really need to be. It could have done with being a 2-parter.
This is one of those stories that follows a very logical sort of set of circumstances that need to get you from point A to point C in like there are military operations. So first they have to recruit, then they have to kit their soldiers out, and then they have to travel, and then they have to delve, and then they've got to, so A must follow B must follow C. So it did feel a little dragged, but you need to do those steps to get them through the story.
Also, it's aliens, right?
Yeah.
Like it's Aliens. It is the movie Aliens by James Cameron.
Instead of being in a spaceship, they're down in a prison.
Yeah, well, it's a ziggurat, which is just a fun word to say.
So funny. When I was listening to this, I misheard, and they're like, "It's a pyramid," and I thought he said, "No, it's a cigarette." And someone went, "Yes, it is," and I was like, "Wait, sorry, what?" And then someone else said ziggurat, and I was like, "Oh my god, Amber."
What is that? A pyramid?
A cigarette.
Because he's got like a very slight hiss to his voice. So yeah, it can be a little, which is like not bad, but I get what you mean.
But that was just me completely mishearing it.
Yes, so they go, as Arnold Rimmer would say, up the ziggurat, lickety split. So yeah, there's this pyramid or ziggurat. The difference being, I believe, that one is stepped and one isn't. Editor's note. So. Okay, buckle up, kids. So apparently, the difference between a ziggurat and a pyramid means that what is in this story is not a ziggurat, but a pyramid. Okay, so a pyramid has flat sides and tombs inside, interior chambers, right? A ziggurat has flat terraced levels, so basically like stepped, like it goes up in steps, and it doesn't have interior chambers. It has a temple at the top of it. So it's not hollow inside. So therefore, what is in this story is in fact a pyramid, and I didn't expect to get this angry while editing this episode. Okay. End of editor's note. So yeah, like they're recruiting these, this team to go in there to try and get this thing. And the information that they have is from UNIT, which is very interesting. But the information they have is, in relative terms, fuck all.
Yeah. So that's from back in, UNIT in the 70s, and we're now in the far...
Or possibly 80s.
Yeah,
we're not getting into that.
We're now in the far future.
Yes.
So it's, pretty old information that's,
and it's
barely
corrupt.
there.
So they know that there's this thing in there that is incredibly powerful. This pyramid ziggurat, this structure is there housing it. They've already sent a team to try and get in there, but that team has been, they think, killed.
We have the standard sort of greedy human military.
Yeah,
Phillips is the guy at the top who's like, we're going to get some kind of resource that's really rare. And the master instantly is like, no, we're not. Yeah,
so Phillips is portrayed as your standard idiot, right? He's your standard military in charge idiot, or it's Paul Reiser's character from Aliens, right? He wants this thing, but he's just, he's hubriscious. His pride will destroy him. And he thinks the master will, he can control the master. It's hubris. He thinks, I can stop the master. I can do whatever. And the master's just like, this guy's an idiot and people will be following me within half an hour, which they do.
Yeah, we should be clear. The reason the master is even here is that they have used Vienna Salvatore as basically bait and dangled her into the vortex where he is currently trapped to drag him out. Because when he feels Vienna in the vortex, he's going to find her and then they can pull him out and then they can control him. And they use that. It's kind of like Suicide Squad. They put the explosive bracelet on him and Vienna together and they're like, okay, if you guys try and leave each other's side, get out of proximity of us, try to escape, we just kill you.
You will be sanctioned. That's sort of, I hate to keep referencing other stories.
No, it's good.
So Vienna, for people who don't know, is Vienna Salvatore is a bounty hunter, first appeared in a 7th Doctor audio story. She's popped up all over the place. She even had her own long-running Big Finish series. And now she's in the Master's story.
Mm-hmm.
I think it works out well for them. And I think the reason they do that is because this is one of the few stories that is recorded mostly in the US. So Eric Roberts and Chase Masterson both live in the US and they both record in the US.
Yeah, they live in California.
It's interesting to know that Big Finish do that. They actually go over and I'm not sure whether the director is there or whether the director is in the UK and they video call, but all the recording's done in the US.
Yeah, it's great. I love this companion dynamic that companion/Time Lord dynamic.
Yes.
Because it's one of probably the most antagonistic. Because at one point, the master just turns to Vienna and is like, I will kill you the second I get the chance.
Yeah.
Do not even think that this is not
But he
happening.
says it in a wonderfully dry and
I
charming...
probably should have done it better.
He's so charming. And I think it's just because he is just sort of... He rarely gets angry.
Yeah.
He is just sort of matter of fact the whole time. It's just like, I'm going to kill you the first chance I get.
Yeah. It's awesome. So now they're forced to work together on this mission because they collude as soon as they get alone.
Yeah.
They try to figure out, how are we getting out of here?
Yes.
And they come to the conclusion they can't. They're going to have to do this for now.
Well, the master reels off a list of things. It's just like, these are the things we can do, including chop our hands off. It's just like, just saying, that's a surefire 100% way to actually get out of this. But the master sizes up this military team, right? This Raptor team. In a second, he instantly spots the character that is the most vulnerable and then homes in on him and controls him.
Yep. And meanwhile, Vienna does her own manipulation of other members of the team. She gets the master to punch her so that she gets a blood nose, which means she can then go to the med bay unsupervised. And then she goes and sneaks around to try and find some files to find out exactly what this mission's about. And she pretends to pull rank on a newbie. She goes toe to toe with him. She keeps up.
And I'm going to insert just here the line with Vienna and the master after her nose is broken, because it's just very, very funny.
Yes.
Vienna's had an accident.
Fell in the atrium. I think my nose is broken. It was a very hard impact. Much harder than I would have expected.
Looks painful.
So I want to talk about, I don't know if you felt the way I felt while listening to this. the Doctor character. Not the Doctor. Doctor, what's his name?
Oh, it's I've got it here. I've got the cast. Chao Xing.
I don't know what was going on with that character. He just sounded like he was. It didn't sound like they got a good actor. It sounded like someone was just really lazily reading the lines.
Well, it was interesting because the same actor plays Raptor 6. It's the same guy. So I got confused because he's in back-to-back scenes with the Doctor and... No, not with the Doctor, with Vienna. He has a scene where she comes in and tries to scope out the tech and he won't do anything. And then he has a scene where he is Raptor 6 and they're in like the down in maintenance together.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same guy. And I got confused because I thought it was the same person.
Right.
When I was listening. But then I realized, no, of course it's two different people. It's the same actor doing both.
Right. Okay. Interesting. So yeah, like the characters in there all did kind of get mashed up together. If this story has a fault, it's that you stop caring about those characters.
Yeah. So there are only 8 actors in this entire
That's more
audio.
than most Big Finish audios, to be perfectly honest.
So a lot of them play
double ups. Yep.
doubles or triples.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And some of them are obviously, like, to be fair, some of the small roles are probably English actors playing American accents and not doing the best job of it in some cases. I think some of them.
Yeah.
There are things in there that could literally destroy the galaxy if they gain access to this plane of existence.
That's reassuring.
That's why we need to lock onto the target entity.
That's the picture. Bye-bye, boo-boo.
Okay, so the Master has got control of Raptor 6. Got control of Raptor 6. That's right, 5 is the one that was locked. 5 is the one that's in charge, isn't she? Yes. So yes, Master has control of Raptor 6, goes around, sneaking around the complex and everything. Not really much comes of it until they get to the ziggurat. They get inside.
He sabotages the dropship.
Oh yeah, he sabotages the dropship, so they're stuck.
Yes.
Yeah. And they get inside the ziggurat, and Vienna very quickly realizes that the traps in this labyrinth inside the ziggurat are designed to keep something in, not to keep people out. And then they wonder what could possibly be going on. And she relays the information that she's got from the mainframe to the Master about, unit, and the Master's just like, the Brigadier, Benton, Yates.
He's like, they were primitive but resourceful.
Yeah. It's just I think the Master just sort of a moment of like simpler times.
Yeah, I loved that moment. I also love that she's like, this is the information I got, and she rattles off a few like qualities about the it's telepathic, or it's I can form psychic bonds with people. She's like, does that ring any bells? And he's like, no.
Yeah, do you have any idea what it might be? Absolutely no idea whatsoever. And just deadpan.
Yeah. I'd like also, just lying, but so deadpan that you can never tell.
Yes. And I think that's this is this Master's charm, right?
Yeah.
He is genuinely just he's cool.
He's definitely the cool Master.
He is the cool Master. He deserves those shades.
And he's still wearing the black trench coat.
Yeah. He really liked the black trench coat, which I still find odd that San Francisco issues to their paramedics. But
he made it work.
And I mean, now he's got the whole Silver Fox thing going. And he's, oof.
So this story we've talked before about the different genres of Masters. Missy's the comedy sort of genre.
Mm-hmm.
The War Master's the psychological horror.
Yeah.
This is the action
adventure.
This Master has a pistol on his hip, boots on, going down tunnels, rappelling, jumping crevices.
Sorry, I just thought I'm just going to cut you going down and then just cut there.
Yep.
I tried that last time and it didn't work.
You could just make a joke about I said he's going down.
Yeah, he's going down.
He loves going down.
He does love going down.
Doctor's body.
I need the doctor's body. You're right. It is so much. It's fun, but very quickly we realize, in case you didn't notice from the cover or any of the
hype.
I'm not going to say breadcrumbs, but big lumps of sourdough that were left lying out.
Big Finish spoiling the story on their own Instagram stories.
I actually, it's Axos, by the way, but it's Axos from Claws of Axos. Oh my God, it's Axos from Claws of Axos. But no, someone actually complained about this recently. This might actually be a good thing to talk about at this point. I've seen a lot of buzz on social media, people complaining about Big Finish putting the big reveal on the cover. So with this one, it was Axos, and there's a story coming out soon. It's a Fifth Doctor story where 5 Tegan, Nyssa, Adric have the head crabs.
Yep.
And people complaining, saying, why is Big Finish putting this stuff on the cover when it's meant to be a sort of reveal in the episode? I think the obvious answer is money, right? Like, people buy the stories.
Yeah, I think like with this one, Paul McGann as an Axos is on the front cover of this. But I do think that there is a certain level of, well, we need to try and sell this. This isn't free. So we have to try and sell this to people. And if they don't know what it's about, then it's not going to be eye-catching and eye-grabbing. Seeing the Master being back with Paul McGann in some capacity and Axos suddenly brings in a new level of appeal than just, here's the third Master box set with no hints as to what it's about. It's less appealing. You have less reason to see it and get excited. The show is free. You're going to watch week to week because you can. Because it's, it's a big event. The TV show's on. There's only 8 episodes.
Yeah.
And it's all free and you can watch it every week. So that's where you hide. That's where spoilers hide in that content.
Yeah.
This content needs to be...
You need something to grab people in.
Yeah.
And so I worked in bookshops for a very, very, very long time, like a decade in and out of bookshops. And the old adage of don't judge a book by its cover is entirely wrong. It is a multi-million-dollar business creating book covers to make sure that people read the books. And it is exactly the same with Big Finish. They need, like, the reason that they do more stories with returning characters than they do with new characters is that it is easier to sell someone something they already know.
Yeah, I think a lot more people would have bought this box set based on the fact that Axos was back, based on the fact of trying to sell just a pure Roberts and Vienna story.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I also think it's on topic, but it's not Doctor Who related. I think we are way too sensitive about spoilers these days.
Yeah.
Like, it is nice to be surprised and to have that surprise, but we have built it up to a culture that is so powerful that people are now hostile about spoilers.
Yeah. And it's funny. It's kind of like, and the people who are complaining about this sort of thing in Big Finish, the people who are complaining are the ones who will just buy them without looking at them because they're the diehard fans. And that's great. Like, I'm so glad that Big Finish has that fan base that will buy Doctor Who audios no matter what's in them.
Yeah.
Although, admittedly, on social media recently, I've seen a lot of people saying that Big Finish quality is going downhill, which I would completely disagree with. Like, I listen to all the new releases as soon as they come out, and I've not seen any drop in quality whatsoever.
Here's an example. On the Master Planet Doom webpage on Big Finish, it has 12 listeners recommend this story.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking one of the biggest media franchises in the world, and the page for this brand new release has essentially 12 likes.
Yeah.
It shouldn't. It should have way more.
Mm-hmm.
But, it's proof that Big Finish need to continue to try and push these things. They're not raking in. It's not like 1,000 people have liked this in the last 12 hours. Like, think about how many people will like any official post by the Doctor Who Instagram about the TV show.
True.
And this one's got 12. So, they need to be pushing this. It's got to be a thing that's going to be happening.
Yeah, absolutely.
Interesting. Continue.
So, Axos. Who talks like this?
The return.
The return of Axos. Well, there has been more Axos in audio before. So, quick précis. We've had, in the Claws of Axos, we had these aliens who came to Earth and started trying to sell the humans on like this infinite growth, like for food, and you could grow food to basically they got a toad and they made it big. got a toad. And the Master was involved because they knew about Earth because they'd captured the Master in space.
Yeah, and he led them there. Great, another Master teaming up with another race to get what he wants.
That's his whole thing. Mind you, when they find him, the Master is actually being held against his will by Axos. Axos is a single entity that creates like smaller things, which the Master calls spaghetti and meatballs. But all of them are pieces of the whole, like pieces of one big thing.
And they learn from each other. So one thing knows something, the others know it.
Yeah, they all learn. They all have a joined brain. And the whole thing about Axos is that it can absorb any energy. Like we're talking nuclear energy, electrical energy, kinetic energy. So like even if you punch it, it will absorb that energy. Now in the claws of Axos, spoiler alert, talking about spoilers, it's been 50 years. In claws of Axos, the Axos with the axons and the axonite gets trapped by the Doctor in a time loop. Then there's another audio story where that time loop gets broken and the Axos comes out again. And then there's a great audio story that is 10th Doctor Classic Companions, where the 10th Doctor teams up with Dorothy McShane, like Ace as she is now, as the like badass businesswoman, to fight off axons, but it's never adequately explained where those axons came from.
Well, this one says...
one explains where it came from.
Yeah, there's multiple strains of Axos.
Yes, it does say that, but it also specifically says that the one that was on Earth in the 1970s/80s is part of it. It is like a cutting from it. They call it a scion.
I love when the Master comes face to face with the Axos in this episode.
Yeah.
Because he immediately tries to make it his companion. Oh, we could travel I could show you the world. I could get you what you want. Just that we get out of here together and we get in the TARDIS, we get in the TARDIS and we go.
This Master, right? Masters are genuinely quite manipulative. This Master is gaslighty.
Yeah.
Like that is what this Master is. Just they'll never trust you, he even says that to someone at some point, doesn't he?
He does.
He's just like no one will ever trust you.
He's very bargainy.
Yeah.
He's really willing to do a deal.
Well,
why don't you give me this and I give you that and we go our separate ways or we go together and...
Well, his first story on his own is called Faustian. Like he is the devil. Like he's doing the deals.
I love that he's done this, trying to make this deal with the Axos. I think they're pretty much going along with it because they can get out of this prison if he helps them.
Yes.
And he's trying to make them his companion.
This is a Time Lord prison. Like, this is a Time Lord prison with timey-wimey traps.
And I love that Vienna comes into the room and he's like, oh, this is awkward. Because, like, his companions come in to find him trying to make a deal with another companion. It's like those kinds of jokes that are just fun and give him this identity, this sense of...
Well, he goes one step further, doesn't he? Because he has Axos create an Axon version of Vienna.
What do you propose?
Well, would you mind awfully taking a form I can talk to face, as it were? No offense, but I hardly know where to look.
Will this form suffice?
Well, hello again. If it isn't my favorite Vienna, my.
Yeah, so we find out that this is a Time Lord prison it's a Rassilon era Time Lord prison.
Yeah, the Master does say at this point, it dates back all the way to the time of the Triumvirate. I'm sorry, you're bringing Cartmel master plan stuff into this? What? What? Are we canonizing the other now?
Yeah, it's a quick little line too. It goes by quickly and no one mentions anything about it. It's like, oh, we see what you snuck in there.
Yeah, no, he's doing it to upset people like me, okay? That was written specifically to upset people like me. Just on this note, when you posted the Emperor's New Groove meme on the Tumblr.
What a sentence.
Yeah. With the looms bit.
Yeah.
Some people were just like, yeah, looms. I was like, no looms.
I knew they would. So we find out that that's the reason why Phillips brought the Master or needed the Master in on this particular mission, was because it's a Time Lord prison. There are time lock things that only a Time Lord understands, and he needs to, unlock them for him, get that out of there so they can get in to this thing, but it's backfired because along the way to the Axos, he's managed to, either through misadventure or, his own manipulation, get rid of all of the military.
The strike team.
Yeah, the Raptors, they're called. That's their code names. They're all gone, so now it's only him and Salvatore left.
Yes, but... Sorry, if I can quote Horrible Histories, but not for long! I might even just put Bob in there. But not for long, because here comes Passion turns up. So Passion, I assume, again, I didn't listen to the second box set. I assume Passion is a character from the previous box set who, basically, we find out she's Vienna's girlfriend, which, love that.
I love that too, because that's exactly what I thought. Passion's this character that's, Salvatore's offsider and is doing all this stuff too, because we also find out time is moving differently in this Time Lord prison than it is on the outside. So it's only been a couple of days for them on the mission, but outside it's been years.
Yes.
So Passion has spent years searching for Vienna Salvatore, her wife, her girlfriend.
Yeah, girlfriend. And they reunite. It's just like, I love you. Oh, I love you too. And I was listening to it going, oh, I love you too.
I love it. But then in the interviews, the woman who plays Passion was like, and then they're reunited, just two besties. And I was like, no, come on, besties.
Besties. They're just roommates, Amber.
Yeah. It's 3 years searching for a bestie. You're gay.
And she is something called a triangulum.
It's her species.
That's her species, yes. And she is like hyper empathetic.
Yeah, an empath.
Yeah.
And she's also been training also to be a assassin.
An assassin bounty hunter thing like Vienna. It's a lovely little storyline.
So she's engaged in her own rescue mission, and they have managed to escape the Master. And they've got a ship and they're heading for it and they're going to escape this prison.
Yep.
But then, of course, we need to remember that they have these distance cuffs on them.
Yeah.
Vienna can't get more than 50 meters away from the Master or she'll die.
So, yeah, she can't get too far away from the Master. Vienna also adapted her cuff, didn't she? She hacked it. So if the Master tries to kill her, he dies.
Yeah.
Which I thought was something that should have really been built in the first case. But yeah, so they're trying to get away. The Master's trying to convince the Axons. So the Master's talking to Axos and he's just like, I can't speak to a big wall of blah. Give me something to speak to. And an Axon forms that looks startlingly familiar. Just as Vienna and Passion find someone in the corridor. Dun, dun, dun.
There is just a tiny little bit before that.
Sure.
Vienna and Passion are wandering around inside this prison and they find a big button.
Oh, that's right.
And they're like, ooh, want to push the big button. And they're like, oh, maybe we shouldn't push the big button.
Yeah, Passion is the voice of reason. She's just like, why would you do that? Why would you do that? And Vienna's just like, could be a laugh. Press it.
And it's kind of like a cloister bell. Not quite, but kind of like a cloister bell starts going off.
Yeah, that's just the stand. Like, I think we've established that cloister bell is as deep and meaningful as it sounds is basically just Gallifrey and klaxon, right?
Time Lords love a bell.
Yeah, like the cloister bell is, if it was on Earth, it would be
yeah.
Someone trying to break into that TARDIS.
So yeah, they assume that something's happening. They don't know what.
Yeah.
But they're like, oh, big bell is ringing. Okay, let's get out of here.
Yeah, we should probably leave. And they trip over what looks like it had one point been a vacuum cleaner. And then eventually they manage to rescue a person like from the wall. Because that's what Axos does. It sort of absorbs you into the wall.
Yeah.
Like the blob or like those like big spheres in The Prisoner. Just
yeah, and they find a TARDIS.
Yes.
And that's how Vienna knows that the Doctor is here.
Yes, and then that they eventually find the Doctor as well. And it is good old Eighth Doctor in his sort of so it's clearly given from the cues that we are given. Okay, it's the Eighth Doctor, but he's wearing his Time War-y type outfit, but it's not the Time War because as far as the Doctor is concerned, the Time Lords are still extant and because he's just like, I'm taking you home, and I'm taking you back to Gallifrey to the Master. It's like we're going back to Gallifrey, and so the Master is talking to this Dr. Axon, and he's just like, oh, he's here, is he? Oh, that's nice.
Yes, because then the Axons use that to be like, well, look, we dominated this guy, so we can dominate you, which leads to my favorite lines where he's like, you will not dominate me. I will not submit. And he's just doing that line, and they're like, oh, but we've dominated the Doctor, so we can dominate you. Just some fun dialogue that I enjoyed.
Yep.
And then suddenly control over this Axon Doctor starts to wane.
Yes.
And the Master's like, see, I said you couldn't take control of a Time Lord.
For someone who has been like pretty grounded the whole time, he suddenly just goes, see that I did that. I see that I did that.
And they're like, no, you didn't. And we find out it's because
the Doctor's been rescued by Vienna and Passion.
Yes.
The first thing he says when he wakes up is just like, have you seen an incredibly impressive piece of technology around here? And they're like, this? And he's just like, yes.
My vacuum, yeah.
How long have I been here? Probably several centuries. That's embarrassing.
Now, is he there because he heard the bell going off? Or was he
heard
just...
a distress signal, which I think the...
I couldn't quite tell. I listened to it twice. And I couldn't quite tell if
what it was that made him go there.
Yeah, whether he had been stuck there coincidentally for a long time.
Well, he definitely said that he went there because of a distress signal. Whether it's the one that they've just set off and he got there early, or that Axos was sending out a signal on a Time Lord prison planet, and the Doctor's just like, ooh, what's that?
So we find out the planet is going to basically, because this is a Time Lord prison, the kill switch for this prison is that it gets sucked into the vortex.
Yep.
So he's like, well, we got to get out of here. And then my favorite thing, this would be my favorite thing. They're like, we can't, the Master is here. And he's like, well, we'd better go and save him.
Well, no, the exact line is, he says, I'll deal with Axos. And Vienna's just like, actually, it's not just Axos you'll be dealing with. And he's like, why? What? It cuts back to the Master having a conversation, cuts back to them, and the Doctor's just, they're running down a corridor, and the Doctor's just like, he doesn't know when to stay dead.
Yes, he doesn't got to save him. And they're like, really? And he's like, it's my duty of care.
Yeah, right.
Would you mind removing my cuff too?
I think not. You look so much more stylish with it on.
You always say the nicest things. Where's your TARDIS?
Don't get too excited. I'm taking you straight back to Gallifrey.
Yeah, I absolutely loved this moment because, it's odd. I thought that this might have gotten maybe some more fanfare. I guess it didn't need it, but it felt very understated. The reunion of...
Well, they have already met
have
in
they?
audio, yeah. In Day of the Master, which we need to get to. So
these two?
Yes, these two.
Okay. Maybe not
and strictly speaking, it is much earlier in their timeline because it's when the Doctor is still with Liv and Helen, and also the Master, at least from the cover art, is shown as being his younger Bruce self.
Okay, yes. All right, I haven't listened to that one. Fair enough then.
Yeah. No. But it is nice to have them together, and also I think them having Paul McGann in this box set kind of... It'd be nice to think that they could do another box set with the Doctor facing off against this Master properly. Because I think that this Master really deserves a good... I want to say a good going over, but...
Yes! Good staying in.
Right.
Instantly, they show up, they see each other, complimenting one another's appearance, like, in a playful way.
Yeah.
Like, can you get this thing off my wrist? No, actually, I think it quite suits you looking like that.
It is interesting, like, if you look at the way that these two characters have evolved, because Paul McGann's Eighth Doctor has evolved hugely since the movie, and so has Eric Roberts' Master. And if anything, Paul McGann's Doctor has become the most sarcastic of all the Doctors now. He has a talent for sarcastic jokes that pop up a lot in Big Finish. And so I feel like this Doctor and this Master have both evolved along a same track, that they're both completely different to who they were, but I think they're so perfectly matched.
It's weird when you think about it. I did put up a post about it, and we did talk about it in the last episode about, do you think they have a preference for which doctor and which master they run into, and vice versa. And I do think that it is interesting when you get these original combinations.
Yeah.
They do shine together. These two have this familiarity. Like, these two they're not in the same room together recording, but they manage to convey this friendliness between one another of like, oh, it's you, this version of you. I know this version of you.
I dare say that not only were they not in the same room recording, they probably didn't record at the same time.
Oh, no. So I actually know about behind the scenes. Once again, I listened to the interview. Because of Paul McGann's availability, the very first scene that was written for all these stories was his. So they had to write backwards from his dialogue because they had to record him super early.
Yeah.
And then do the rest. So they wrote the ending scenes with him first and worked back from there.
Oh, wow.
So they had to base everything around the ending point because they just had to get the scripts to him ASAP.
Yeah, yeah.
So
he's always busy. That's That's what Paul McGann does. He's always busy.
But they were really excited that they got him for it. So they rushed it through to him. So
did you notice that this box set was produced by his son?
Oh, great.
Yeah, Sonny McGann.
Nice.
Otherwise known as, he was also used to be credited as Jake McGann. He also plays the Doctor's great-grandson, Alex.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
nice.
Big Finish loves keeping people together in that industry.
He's family.
So they're all running.
Yeah,
they all
as usual. Yeah, Axos is doing its thing. It's I won't be stopped.
Yeah, and the planet's gonna go into the vortex. It's gonna crumple and
so Axos is gonna crumple on them, and then the planet's gonna crumple on it, and so they're running, and then the floor collapses beneath them, and Vienna and the Master are stuck there. And the Doctor takes passion and goes into the TARDIS, and the Master says, I knew he'd leave us.
It's this really great moment where he starts to guilt trip her. He knows he's got to get out of the situation. The only way he's going to do it is with Vienna's help.
Mm-hmm.
God, he turns it on for this, where he's just like, oh, what about your morality? Are you going to leave me here? Aren't you a new and better person these days? Like, you're not the woman I once knew, so you can't leave me behind.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Because he's shown in this story that he has a talent for hypnotism. But 99% of his hypnotism is literally just gaslighting, passive aggression. Like, it's emotional manipulation more than actual mental hypnotism.
Gaslight, gatekeep, girl boss.
Yeah.
Master edition. That's who this master is.
Yep. No, fair enough.
So she falls for it. She gives into him. She reaches out and grabs him and instantly tries to betray her.
Yeah,
Instantly pulls her into the pit with him.
Yep.
And he's basically like, if I'm going to hell, you're coming with me. I love that.
Yes. Well, there's this whole hell motif throughout the whole story, isn't there? It's like the road to hell is paved with good intentions, and the Master even says at one point, which is why you don't ever intend anything good and you won't go to hell. So they fall.
Yeah, and he's like, I can't go back into the vortex.
Yep.
And we actually get some emotion from him.
Yes.
Like the screaming of no as he goes back in.
Yep. Or does he? So Vienna falls, but the TARDIS materializes around her and she falls onto the floor, which the Doctor's just like, that was a nifty bit of piloting, which I love that they have to make a point of that because otherwise the Doctor should just be able to do it every time.
Yeah.
And the Doctor's just like, oh, that was 1,000,000-to-1 shot. I'm glad I made it. Because they can't just have a thing of the Doctor just always piloting around people. Otherwise no one would die. But what ends this story is a beautifully just really tongue-in-cheek silly ending. Like they know what's happening. Yeah. It's just like, oh, the Master couldn't have gotten out of this unless through a convoluted series of events this A, B, C, D happened. And the chances of that happening are astronomical. So obviously it's Terry Pratchett's it's 1,000,000-to-1 shot, but it just might work.
Yeah, I also love the mirroring of this scene with Missy explaining to Clara how the Doctor can think so quickly and come up with a solution and escape.
Yeah.
So that's how I'd do it as well. And that's the same in this. The Doctor's like, well, I would escape like this if it was me.
Yeah, if it was me, I would have done this. And the Master just goes onto Passion's ship and reprograms the computer. And then it ends, if I'm to continue the aliens metaphor, it ends like the end of Alien Covenant, where the Master has a cutting of Axos in his ship that he's then going to go use to control and spread. And
gives it a cute name, calls it Axie.
Axie. I mean, is it a cute name or is that just adding a different vowel?
Well, for him it's cute because
Yeah.
he's putting some emotional inflection on it rather than just calling it a Zaxxon.
Yeah. And he also, he pops a bottle of champagne as well.
Yeah.
When he's like, yeah, fine. Everything worked out fine.
Yeah, it's great. I love how he just gets away. The writing room for this, once again from the interviews, was amazing because they say that, he's a villain. So, we sort of used to believe that you can't let a villain get away with it.
Yeah.
And I just love the idea of the master writing room being like, okay, we can't let him get away with this. He has to have some repercussions. And then in the office across the hallway is the War Master writing room, feet up on the desk as their creation commits atrocities and then like walks away from it. Like,
do you know what the difference is between those two teams? And I'm going to call it out now. It's Scott Hancock.
But
it is gorgeous Scott Hancock.
Apparently, they did get told after the first Master box set, you can. No, he's allowed to get away with it because in the first season of those, the first box set, he doesn't. He gets, in trouble or he doesn't get what he wants.
Yeah.
But then they actually got told by Big Finish, like, no, let him.
Yeah,
He can get away with whatever he wants. And they're like, so we had him just, pop champagne and fly away on a ship without any repercussions because he's allowed to.
Yeah, that's what we've always said. Like if it's their own box set, like the Master is a startling evil genius. Like if Doctor Who has taught us anything, it's that he's just an idiot. Like as far as Doctor Who is concerned, he doesn't do he's not smart because he's always outsmarted by the Doctor, but the Doctor is the only person smart enough to outsmart him. So obviously, when the Doctor's not around, the Master wins constantly.
And this time the Doctor was around, but he still got away with something.
Yeah.
A little bit. He gets a little victory. Not the full victory he wanted, but something.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, that's the Master writ large, isn't it?
Also, this has got to be the definition of the Master having a full-fledged plan, scheme, and the Doctor showing up literally within the last minutes of the story. Stopping it from happening and then leaving. Paul McGann's in this for I would say less than 10 minutes.
Well, the thing is, the Master didn't really have much of a scheme. He was pulled out of the time vortex, and he just went with it. Again, the Master's just mugging furiously, just I know exactly what I'm doing. Yep, it's fine. Oh, Axos is here. That's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, just on the fly improvisation, making this plan up as he goes along. It's great.
Yeah. It's Doctor Who, Master, yes and.
Yeah. I just need to say as well, my favorite line that we go out on is from Robert's Master. And he's like, you may have won this time, Doctor, but I won't rest until I'm wearing your face.
That's right, because he is still trying to get the Doctor's body. The Doctor's body.
Yeah, but he still wants it.
Still wants the Doctor's
body. Didn't get it this time. He'll get it next time. If you're a fan of the
Episode 3, the movie.
Yeah. Definitely if you're a fan of the Master and the Doctor and shipping them, this is worth checking out just for this fun. It's only a few minutes, but it's so good. It's so fun. It's a really great example of how two actors can keep that banter and spirit of their relationship alive, even though they haven't seen or been in a room together.
Yeah.
Ever. Okay, Ciarán, were you attending carefully?
I'll be honest, I checked out somewhere in the middle, and then checked back in again.
Dear.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
The second episode was a bit of a drag, in the middle, just a tiny bit. It just felt stretched.
All right. Which raptor does the Master hypnotize?
6.
Which, yes, we discussed earlier.
We discussed, yeah, cool.
What song is the Master singing throughout the episodes?
This Little Light of Mine.
Yeah. Interesting choice.
Interesting, yeah, a very religious song.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine.
What drink does the Master tell Phillips to kick back with? He says, kick back with a blank. I'll handle the rest from here.
It's either coffee or beer. No? Pina colada?
It is.
Yes!
And without me, this is as far as you get. So how about you kick back, mix yourself a pina colada, and let me do my thing.
What's the first thing the master says to the doctor?
Oh, hello, you? No. No.
If I knew you were coming, I'd have baked a cake.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well. Look what the cat dragged in.
Doctor, if I'd known you were coming, I'd have baked a cake.
Finally, where does the master ask the computer to take him? This is at the very end.
Oh, somewhere interesting or somewhere civilized. Oh, it's like a class 4 planet or something with a class 1 civilization, but yeah, what is the word he uses? It's something take somewhere special, somewhere interesting, somewhere intelligent. I can't remember. What is it?
Sophisticated. Which I like the idea that this master's like, okay, that was disgusting.
Yeah.
I'm going to go somewhere nice.
Ew.
Yeah.
Set a course for somewhere sophisticated.
Sophisticated, master?
A class 1 planet in a grade A system. I don't care which. Surprise me.
As you command.
So.
I got 3 out of 5.
Yeah.
I've got some for you that I thought you were going to do. This doesn't count, but yeah. When the cuffs are put on the master and Vienna, Phillips makes a point that Vienna is there as insurance for the master. What does the master say of that?
Oh, I don't remember.
Using the canary to guard the cat.
Ah.
What's Salvatore's role in all this?
You might consider her your handler.
Using the canary to guard the cat. Interesting management style.
I don't remember that at all.
Okay. So Vienna calls the master several things throughout this.
Yep.
But there are two in particular.
Oh, gosh.
One of them is a title and the other one is a name.
I mean, I'm just thinking of things like Devil or Prince of Darkness or...
Oh, you're close.
King of Evil?
No. She calls him the Prince of Liars.
Oh, okay.
And the other one, it's a name. She calls him Lloyd.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she calls him Lloyd. She decides that his name is Lloyd.
Tell you what, I'll give you a name. How about that? I've always liked Lloyd. Lloyd works at the store, you know? He's everybody's pal, dependable, likable. Went to school with your mom.
You're trying my patience, Vienna.
Don't be a Grinch, Lloyd.
Oh, yeah, and that wonderful line of, if in doubt, follow the sound of Axos being pasted.
Yes.
And the master also says at one point, I do so love a captive audience, which is another great
He's got so many great just one-lines in this, just to himself, not necessarily to make anyone else laugh.
Yeah, he's just amusing himself with the situation, really, isn't he?
Yeah.
It's a big old universe out there, and it's just begging for a master.
Death count. 2 guards are attacked in the ship, but it doesn't really say if they were... I couldn't tell. They never confirm if they died or if they were just attacked.
Yeah.
But it's him. So maybe 2. 2 people.
Yeah. Doesn't he also... He puts people in the way of Axos.
Yes, and he does hypnotize Raptor 6 to do his bidding, and we're not quite sure, like you said, in that middle section where they're getting through the prison to find out what's inside. A lot of stuff happens and they all die, and is it misadventure or is it planned? It's probably the least deadliest big finish we might have seen.
Wow, okay. That's a big call. Okay, so what have we learned?
That this master does a lot of tenure in the vortex. He starts this in the vortex and he gets threatened to be put back in the vortex at the end. And we know that he doesn't like being in there, I guess, because he has no control. He can't escape.
It's interesting, isn't it, that so he starts this story in the vortex. Even when he was swallowed by the Eye of Harmony in the TARDIS funneled him into a room of the TARDIS and then ejected that room. So he wasn't he was in the vortex, but he was within something else. But sounds like he's like in the vortex, because like they mentioned him having an ethereal body.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's gotta hurt.
This master won't be dominated.
He will not be dominated.
He still wants the doctor.
He still wants the doctor's body.
He's a bargainer.
Yeah.
He does wheels and deals and gaslights, gatekeeps and girl bosses. Like he's
Gaslight, gatekeep, Gallifrey.
That's our new shirt.
Yes.
Gaslight, gatekeep, Gallifrey. Yes. Yes. It's with a picture of Narvin on it.
We love Narvin. I hope that Dark Gallifrey has a Narvin box set.
Amazing.
Not that he's like evil per se. He's just He's lawful evil, I think.
See, whereas the War Master would have put everything into position to pay off right at the end, to get his way somehow, this one is bluntly making deals and then just reneging on them the second he gets his half. So he's a lot more, but everyone falls for it. But he's a lot more open about what he wants and what he's doing. He's right up front about like, okay, you give me this, I'll give you this. Great. Oh, actually, no, I'm not going to uphold my end of the deal. But everyone still does the deal with him. It's like, stop it.
Stop letting this guy trick you.
Yeah.
At this point, it's your own fault.
Yeah, when she helps him out the pit at the end, you're like, what are you doing? Just leave him.
And that's the master to a T, though, isn't it? Like, he knows that everyone else is more moral than him, so he can play off that.
Yeah. He's always begging for his life.
Yeah.
Because he isn't necessarily having to beg for his life. He just knows that if he pretends to do that, someone will take pity on him. And that doesn't matter because he gets to live. I do like, there was a great quote he says in this where he says, embarrassment is not an emotion he feels.
Yes, he does say that, doesn't he? Are you embarrassed? I don't know. It's not an emotion that I feel.
Yeah. It's an interesting line.
Yeah.
Considering the amount of times he is humiliated by the Doctor. Like, I wonder if the Ainley Master would say he doesn't feel embarrassment.
I don't know. I feel like if you're walking around in a crushed velvet coat like that, embarrassment is not something that comes naturally to you. I think the Master has confidence. Like, the Master always has confidence because you need to have confidence to get to that point.
Yeah.
You may fail, but I'm not sure he particularly beats himself up about it too much. Although Missy does mention, though, doesn't she? Like, when the Lumiat is like reeling off their worst hits, and Missy's just like, oh yeah, you can't remember this conversation, but I bet you remember the blinking Sea Devils.
This Master is the cool Master. That's what this is. He is the action adventure Master. Nothing rattles him. He's a cool guy.
He is a cool guy. This is slightly off topic. So, like, as you said, like, Missy is comedy and the War Master is horror. And this is action adventure. What's Call Me Master going to be?
I wonder if it'll continue to be espionage.
Yeah.
If we'll get that sort of feel,
vibe. Yeah,
because he also, he was pretending to be in the military and things like that. I wonder if we'll keep getting that sort of different identity, trickery. Yeah. Thriller, maybe?
Possibly. I can tell you right now, because they announced at the time of recording last week that it'll be coming out in 2025.
Yeah.
February 2025. That means recording is done. Like, they've finished recording on it. It's all down to production now. Yeah, so like the scripts have obviously been done for ages and the recording's done on that. So we just need to wait patiently for a year and don't you worry, when it comes out, we'll be talking about it right on here.
Oh, yeah. I could see definitely the second that drops.
Yep.
A lot of people are going to be jumping on it.
Yep.
And they've also announced the Fugitive Doctor to go alongside with the release. She comes out first, and then his comes out slightly. I wonder if there'll be any crossover.
I doubt it. Not for a first box set like that. Nah, I mean, look, if you start putting the two of them together, it muddies the timeline even more than it already is. I mean, not that the timeline at the moment isn't, like the Torrens.
That's a very
Adelaide reference. Yeah. Basically, if in your hometown you have a river that you wouldn't swim in. That's that's what we're talking about. That's all for this week's episode of Please Attend Carefully. Thank you so much for listening. We hope that with each new episode, you come to understand, appreciate, and maybe even obey the Master. Don't forget to follow or subscribe to be updated on new episodes. Amber, how can listeners get in contact with us?
You can email us at pleaseattendcarefully@gmail.com. Send us an ask on Tumblr at pleaseattendcarefully. Follow us on Instagram at pleaseattendcarefully. And find out more on our website, pzinner.com.au/shows/attend.
That's right. And as of this series, you can also find our episodes on YouTube. And we now have a Patreon featuring exclusive subscriber content with tiers starting at just $2. I've been Ciarán.
And I've been Amber. We're on an end of season break at the moment, but check back in a few weeks and we'll be returning with more episodes.
We hope you'll be tuning in. After all, it can't hurt you to listen, can it?